Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Positively Disney Phone-In Podcast. And I just want to welcome all you Facebook viewers as well as the Twitch TV viewers. This is episode 16. It's hard to believe that I got past that 10 that they say everybody that starts podcasting, if they stop, it's usually at the 10th episode. So welcome tonight. And, I've had a very interesting week, and as everybody does have their ups and downs, but I'll tell you, it is really fun to hear from you guys. And this week I actually got some mail. And for some of you maybe that don't know, I'm actually the author of the Positively Disney book series. There's 3 books out now. And I got a letter from a little girl from London in the UK. And her name is Daisy Napier. She's 6 years old. And I was really touched by it. I just wanted to read you the little letter that she sent to me this week because it really made my day. And it goes, "To Kim, thank you for including me in your book. Hope I get to see you soon. Love, Daisy Napier." And there's a bunch of X's there. And along with her lovely little note, she sent me Donald Duck, which is, of course, my guy. I mean, I love Mickey, of course, and Goofy and those guys, but Donald Duck is kind of my guy. And I just really thought that was really sweet and very kind. So thank you again, Daisy. I know that right now their family is sleeping because it's the middle of the night for them over there, but they are catching the show tomorrow. At any rate, if you guys want to call in, the phone number is 844-483-4763, and I'd love to hear from you. You know, earlier today, I wasn't too sure if I was catching a bit of a cold, a bit of a sniffle, or I was just sneezing over some dust. I actually went down for the first time in a very, very long time to look at different vinyls, the albums, record albums. And I was actually looking for a particular one for a friend, just to comment on or check if I had the album with the band. While I was looking through, I actually came across a really cool album, which I thought was so fun. And I hope you guys can see it. It's an original Peter Pan record. And I had forgotten that we'd even had it. This was obviously from my childhood. I guess I must brought it, or I don't know how it happened, but it actually lists it as 1969, and it's really kind of neat. I think that I'll get the turntable going and listen to it because I think it's kind of fun coming across really like old stuff. I mean, this is 39 years old stuff from Disney that we can kind of check out and kind of see comparison to what we have today. As you know, those of us that grew up on watching The Wonderful World of Disney Sunday nights, the special effects are very different these days, of course, but enjoy the stories of those first shows that I encountered as the stories, in the movies and shows as of late. But anyways, I just thought I'd share that with you. I was sneezing quite a little bit, so hopefully I don't have any more dust in my nose. I wanted to invite you guys to comment on or call in about some of your experiences you had on your very first, I will call them rides. I know they're called attractions, but there's different things within the attractions that you can do. And so I'm kind of going to focus a little bit on the rides. And I don't know if some of you, there's some must-do go-to rides, or there are some definite rides that you will not do ever, or even just you've done them once, you never do them again. And for me, I've done every ride at Walt Disney World except for one, and I will never do it. It's called the Rock and Roller Coaster by Aerosmith, and I know it like goes to 60 miles an hour in a matter of seconds, I guess it is. And I think that just terrifies me. And there's double loops that people say that you don't even know about that, but I definitely would would know about that. So that is one of them that I would not go to. And I do have a story to tell you about Tower of Terror, but I just wanted to say hi to Jane, Elizabeth, and Chris that have joined. I hope you guys are having a nice evening. At any rate, I also wanted to speak to, I don't know his name, but his name is Creative Guy on Twitch TV, and he was just telling me that he has an old Mary Poppins album. But that's too bad. He's got the cover of it, but there's no record in it. And but I would hope that he might be able to find it sometime, because that would be really cool to check that out. Hi, Arnold. Arnold's on here now as well. Arnold is actually in the third Positively Disney book. He's got a really, really neat story. He hasn't read it yet because his order has, and Jane, their books are coming in about third week of February. They are two of the contributors of the Positively Disney book series. At any rate, I will tell you a little story about the Tower of Terror. I don't know if all of you that are listening or watching have been on that, but years ago, many years ago, a really good friend of ours who was in his late 60s knew how worried about the whole ride I was when he was showing us around. He was a Disney exec back in the day, and he still actually works for Disney at 82 years of age, and just loves doing, he just does a little bit of work for them still. And he still plays tennis, and he's just a lovely, lovely man. Call him my Florida father. At any rate, he encouraged me to go on the Tower of Terror and assured me that it was only a couple of stories at drop, not a big deal. And so I started thinking about an apartment building or what a couple of stories would be. And I thought, well, something I could handle, I guess. So I braved the pre-show. Of course, nothing to worry about in the pre-show where they're giving you the history of the Tower of Terror. And I got on it, and I will tell you, that was the first and only time I could manage to get on the Tower of Terror. Because as anyone knows, I don't think it's just two stories that you drop. It's considerably further down. And when I got off that ride, I was very, very green. I didn't have to get sick, but I was feeling really sick for a couple of hours. And my husband and I, we went and watched the Beauty and the Beast show. And I don't know what we did if we watched a couple of shows, but I really couldn't move very far for a couple of hours. And I thought, I'm not going to do that one again. But I do go to the pre-show every time with my family, because any of you that don't want to do Tower of Terror and your other family members do, the pre-show is really fine. You can go in and you can just tell them that you're not going to ride, and you will exit off onto an elevator that works. At any rate, if you guys want to call in, 844-483-4763. My fellow on Twitch was telling me about the Tower of Terror change to, of course, the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Disneyland. And I'm not sure if it's the same idea in there. I'm not sure at all. Has anybody been on there? Arnold said it's a 13-story drop, by the way. Okay. So, then that is, 13 stories. Well, that's a lot bigger than 2. And I'm wondering if my friend said, that it was 2 stories just to make sure that I got on it. Cause he knows, Disney's about safety first. Nobody's going to, get hurt or whatever. Everybody's going to do well on the rides. But I guess he was, that was his way of getting me on there. But 13, oh my gosh. Okay. I didn't know that, Arnold. At any rate, there's some other, rides that, of course, I've been on. And, I think I get a wee bit motion sickness, but Dumbo is one that I won't ride anymore either, because of the just kind of going around teacups a little bit too. Unfortunately, when my very first Mission Space ride in Epcot. For all of you guys that may or may not know, there's an orange and a green. And the green means I don't think actually there's any spinning on that one. It's just the experience. The orange one is spinning. And I mentioned this in another, I don't know whether it was an interview or one of my podcasts, but I did the orange one for the first time. And oh my word, that was a tough one. I did take one of those little sick bags with me. I didn't get sick. I just, my pride was standing in the way of that, because I was actually with a few people that I definitely didn't want to embarrass myself over, nor my children. But that's one that I'll never go back on. And another ride that I actually shouldn't call it a ride. It's the attraction. And I'm not too sure if this is in Disneyland, because it's been a while since I've been at Disneyland, but we had bypassed it forever. And it's the laugh floor in Magic Kingdom. And you can usually get in there without a wait, except if you're going in, at New Year's. There will always be a wait there then. But the laugh floor is really, really a lot of fun. And I really encourage people to do that one, because it's a little bit interactive. And you never know when you might get volunteered for something. And we've been several times to the laugh floor, because even though it's got sort of the same scheme of things, there is always a little bit of, a different show every time, And so it was just really, really fun. And I was actually, I had to be an alien in that show. And my husband was chosen as a guy named That Guy on 2 different occasions throughout the years. At any rate, I highly recommend that. It's really kind of fun. I know I've seen some photos on the Facebook pages that have come across of people posing on the Tower of Terror, on, Splash Mountain, Test Track, so the rides that, of course, are just ones that, where the camera is for the most part. And it's just really fun to see some of your poses. If any of you guys have done kind of a special group pose or something like that, let me know. I'd be curious to know. So creative guy, not sure if you can let me know your name, but anyways, he was saying that he loved spinny rides. He can't do it so much anymore. Yeah, sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Especially the ones that spin at the same time. Have you seated in a seat that spins too? Oh my word, that's just it's making me dizzy just reading all that. Arnold says the Monsters Inc. laugh floor is not only a fun little show, but it's a great way to get out of the heat for a while, or stay away from those afternoon showers that occur at Magic Kingdom from time to time. I agree, absolutely. It's really fun. Yeah, my husband actually, Jacques is on, and he was that guy, as I said, and he actually got a couple of fun stickers. It's always neat to, get something that you don't expect when you're visiting the parks or visiting the stores or something like that. And I know that my youngest son had studied up how to get the top, the top score for Buzz Lightyear. And he's managed it. I think he's actually standing beside me, but he managed it 3 times. And I know there's I was talking about posing photos, but honestly, the photo of my other son with him, it is just absolutely outrageously hilarious, because you can tell the younger one is just, cooking, and the other one is really ticked off at, which one is going to get the top ranking score. And I think it's like 999,000 points. Is
999.
What?
999,999.
Okay, so 999,999 is how many points he got. And then he when you're in of course the gift shop that's after the ride, you actually get a sticker that tells you, I think, your ranking. Does it tell you ranking? Yeah. And so that was really kind of fun, actually. Oh, okay. So creative guy, I can call him CG for short. Okay, thank you. That makes it a little bit easier. I want to say a shout out to my friend Father George, who is actually in the magical place we are speaking of today. He arrived tonight, he arrived this morning, I think it was, to beautiful blue skies out of a blizzard in his area. So, Father George, welcome, and I hope you're having a wonderful time at the Magic Kingdom. I know you were at the fireworks, I think, tonight. At any rate, another experience that I had on a ride, and again, please share your different experiences. I can't believe what happened. I had experienced, when Stitch was the alien encounter, and I did that, which really kind of freaked me out because I'm never really good about, I don't know, things in the dark that I can't see. And Stitch, it really surprised me. I had done it. I think it was about 3 summers ago. Thinking, I don't know that I've done it before, but for some reason, the dry ice, all the smoke or whatever that they had in that ride, I started to choke. I couldn't breathe. And so I don't go on that one anymore again. But I know they're changing it. I don't remember to what it's going to be now, but I think that is one of the rides that they're going to change, that much to a lot of people that are Stitch lovers. I love Stitch, but not the ride so much. I'm not too sure what they're going to change it into. I wanted to just say hi to Kim, another Kim, it's a great name, that joined. Hope you are well tonight. Do you guys have a story to share with me? If you have a magical moment or experience, or even just a fun story of a pose that you took on one of the rides. I know there's a lady that she frequents the park, Beth Lammers. She frequents the park. I think she's gonna. Well, I don't know how many times she's been there, but she lives nearby and she really enjoys it and does a lot of live streaming and stuff like that. And the people she was with this week on Tower of Terror, they were all on their cell phones. And I know that some of I'm trying to remember what by the way, if you see me looking at the side talking into thin air, you do hear a voice once in a while. It's my youngest, who is my tech guy, and he's around, and he and my son, my daughter, and my husband as well are always posing. And I know when there's been a group pose, I don't know why, but I'm usually the one that doesn't get the memo or something, or else I just miss the party or something, because I never really posing unless I pose the whole ride. But some of the poses, I think they were you driving something? Were you on a boat driving, or just looking bored? I think maybe on one of the thrill rides, they were just had these deliberate bored looks or something of that nature. But they are really kind of fun to see, and especially if most of the times I don't get the memo, and so it's always fun to see the photo after, to see the kids and my husband doing whatever they do. Arnold says he always does poses too. Yeah. He was also telling about an interesting experience that he had when they were on the Transportation Transit Authority, and he calls it the People Mover, when going through Space Mountain portion of the ride. The lights were on inside. Oh yeah, they were on inside Space Mountain. That is really cool. Gosh, what did it look like inside with the lights on, Arnold? It must be very, very different. I have a little experience on the People Mover too, but it wasn't seeing the lights inside. But I do say I really love the People Mover now. It's just such a nice way to just take a break. And I kind of like to watch people, actually. It's never a dull moment there anyways, and it's just really fun, I find, to watch different guests. Jane Elizabeth says she's a poser also. Yeah, there's a few of us.
I
Oh,
actually have the pictures from one of our, I guess, poses. So
okay.
I'll
We've got
try
a
to
we've got a posing
show it.
photo. Let's see if
So
it's on there.
here's our family, all calm and collective. And my favorite part about this picture, it's not actually us. It's this gentleman right here, kind of I guess dramatically getting hit by Tower of Terror, and it's one of my favorite pictures.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of fun. You can always tell the first ones on a ride or somebody. Yeah, the first timers. That's for sure. CG says Wreck-It Ralph ride. He believes is replacing Stitch, which I think is. That would be kind of cool. Ooh, we had a really fun experience. We were on the Disney cruise ship for a few days at Christmas, and if any of you cruisers out there, they used to have an arcade on the ship, which, to be honest with you, I mean, you let your kids do stuff because you're on vacation, but it was kind of like, ugh. I don't want them to be in an arcade, and not that they would be in there for hours, but it was just like, there's other things we can do. And what they changed the arcade into, it's really fun. It's a Wreck-It Ralph themed candy shop. And I absolutely loved it. Well, besides I bought some stuff, but I just love the whole atmosphere of it. And they'd have it wasn't an animatronic, but it was a voice of, I think, one of the candies or something like that. It was just really fun. And that actually brings to mind, I never know when I'm going to get a story for my books. And I am presently writing the fourth book that will be out this summer. And I actually interviewed one of the cast members that he had disembarked from the fantasy on Saturday morning. And oh my gosh, while we were chatting, he was in tears. I was in tears. It was an amazing interview. This fellow comes from Colombia and living his dream. And he said that everything that he does, like I think at one point he was, doing the ice cream, which is kind of an art, really. I know I can't put the ice cream in the cone for the life of me. And, they make sundaes and that. He said he did everything with energy and passion and love to pass on to the guests. And he said because he considers Walt Disney as his friend and he wants to make his friend happy. I'm telling you, I was so touched. I can't wait for that story. That story that he has given me is huge. And I was so grateful that he got off the ship, rented a phone, and we talked for an hour. We had exactly an hour. And anyways, and I met him in the candy shop on the Disney Dream. He's not there now. He's on the fantasy and opened that shop. But I was like, how did I manage to talk to that particular person when there's several other cast members in the shop? It was really obviously meant to be, but it was really, really fun. I'll tell you, it's incredible. Jane Linda said the best thing Disney did was remove the arcades. Yeah. I always kind of felt that, I like to do stuff a way that I can't do at home. And not that my kids go to the arcades, but we have arcades here, and Disney's better than that as far as I'm concerned. CG, there's a video of Space Mountain with the lights on YouTube. Okay, well, I'm going to be checking that out actually, because I'm curious to know. I first went on Space Mountain when I was 18 years old. And I don't really remember it very much, but I do remember that I had my eyes closed for most of it. I'm kind of a chicken when it comes to rides like that. And I had done it again, when I was a little bit older. And then a few years ago, my family encouraged me to do Space Mountain again. I thought, okay, I've done the mine train and I've managed Tower of Terror. This can't be that bad. And I held on to my husband's hand. He was sitting in front of me the whole time, and I was whimpering throughout the whole thing. I don't know what happened, but I really don't like that ride, unfortunately. I wish I did, but it just didn't. It wasn't kind of my cup of tea. And so I don't do that one, but I do like to do, a lot of the other ones. And some of you that had seen maybe the podcast, it might have been just after Christmas now, not, or no, it was maybe last summer or last fall, that I went and it was the most amazing ride experience of my life at Disney. And it was the Flight of Passage at Pandora in the Avatar land. And I have to tell you again, even if somebody has heard this before, it was so incredible. I look at the attractions and, the rides and that, they're definitely like a 10 off the scale. But I will tell you guys, this was like, I don't even know where it was on the scale, 20, 50, 100. It wasn't even on the scale. If you ever have a chance to go on, and anybody, I do tend to get motion sickness. So, well, a little bit, I guess. So when I was on that ride, if I was kind of feeling a little woozy, I just kind of looked ahead. But honest to goodness, you really do feel like you are in another place. And, I love the old types of Disney, that I grew up with, but I also love the new. And I can't wait to see with all of our technology, with all the technology they have now, what else they're going to come up with, what other kind of ride experience. Because honestly, if they keep having ride experiences like that one, riding the Banshee at Flight of Passage, I'm telling you, I'm a lifer for annual passes, even though I live on the other side of the country, because it is just phenomenal. Jane was saying that her Flight of Passage is her new favorite ride too, and they'll be on it again. She got her fast pass, and actually, I've got to start booking some fast passes ourselves. We are actually heading there. We have to be there the end of June, first week of July, and then mid-August, we've got a cruise booked to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary, which I had mentioned last time. But I keep forgetting about FastPass. I kind of do it last minute. And, just a little tip, if you cannot get a fast pass for something like Flight of Passage or whatever, try to get to the park like an hour and a half before it opens, 2 hours before it opens. I know it sounds outrageous. They don't have buses or things like that going to the park, so you have to Uber it over, but you will get on that ride without waiting in line for 4 hours. And people, sorry, I'm going on here, but people say they've waited in line for 4 hours for that ride, which I don't do that, but people said it was still worth it every moment they waited in line. Anyways, just a little tidbit if you want to get on to that, get on that one. Anyhow, I don't know if anybody's going to call in or not, but I think that we're almost going to be ready to wrap here. But I was just thinking about today, because I was kind of going down memory lane after I found that Peter Pan album. And, any of you that have been to the parks years ago, and anybody that hasn't been to the parks or hasn't seen it can also check. Thank goodness we've got the internet. Everybody can check it out. But they had another water park called River Country, and it was really fun. I loved River Country. It was a little kind of like a swimming hole after the Mark Twain thing, with just a few. I think they had like a bit of a tire swing, and kind of crawl across the water on ropes and things like that. And it was really nice. It was small, and it was really kind of a cool addition to the campground. And then they closed it. I'm not 100% sure why they closed it, if they might have had some cross-contamination between the Seven Sea Lagoon or whatever. But I remember that water park, and I was thinking, with all these extra additions like Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land and all of that, I really wonder if they will add another water park. Arnold is saying poor river country is abandoned and still there. Yeah, they should at least clear it out or something. It's sad to see it suffer. Yeah, I agree. I know I'm always looking at it when I cross over the water to Magic Kingdom from Fort Wilderness, where we tend to stay. But I was thinking, what kind of a water park theme should they go for? And I was, of course, we've got Star Wars Land and we've got Toy Story Land. And I kind of started thinking about Toy Story Land, if they had a water park theme with that, and have, I don't know, some kind of a giant water hose that would go around a different, as if you were maybe a little critter or a lost toy or something like that, and having a little adventure. But then there's also Star Wars, and I'm not sure if they will have another water park, if the two that they have are enough. Enough there. Oh, Arno said they just had lunch on Saturday. Yeah, at the Trails End Buffet. Love the feel of Fort Wilderness. Arnold, that is our go-to park with our resort, I should say. I think Fort Wilderness is so popular that I wish they'd build another one, because it's very difficult to get in there, and it's something that reminds me of kind of a Western. It's kind of the old time Western feel. If you're in the cabins, you can drive right up to your cabin door, which is really nice. Or of course, if you're camping and you have a vehicle, and you could also bomb around in the golf carts or whatever as well. But yeah, love Fort Wilderness. The frogs, you can hear the frogs. It's a quieter, peaceful area that I really appreciate at the end of the day at Disney. At any rate, guys, I am going to just have to wrap it up in a few minutes here. And I wanted to let you know that next week I'm actually in Ireland, so I won't be podcasting next week, but I'll be back on the 19th. My sons and I, we were flying in to Cork. Well, we're flying Monday, and then we'll get there the next day. But really enjoyed sharing with you this evening. And if you want to email me or something as well, you can also email me at Kimberley@positivelydisney.com. And if you want to check out any of the stories in the books, the 3 books are out there. As I said, the 4th one is coming in the summer, and stories like the cast member that I just shared with you, really, really some phenomenal stories, as I'm so grateful and feel so privileged to share with all of you, and be able to have people tell me those stories that I really, really believe should be heard. And in closing, Jane Elizabeth's just saying Cork is one of her favorite stops. And I've actually not been to Cork. I've been to Ireland several times, but not to Cork. So that'll be kind of fun. But thank you. And you guys have a good couple of weeks. And I'll see you on the 19th of February. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you that celebrate Valentine's Day. And have a great night and be safe. Good night. Bye-bye for now.